Hey, welcome to Iron and Lime. It's Drew. So I've got two safety strap systems on this rack right now. One of them is clearly better, but it took some work to get there. I want to show you exactly what that work looks like. Today is the Rogue Monster versus the Bells of Steel Manticore straps. We're going to run through every difference that actually matters, and I've used them both extensively with real training. So I'll tell you which one I'm keeping and why. Let's get into it. All right, the Rogue Monster Safety Strap System 2.0 is designed specifically for Monster Series racks, but it will fit any 3x3 43-inch rack. The brackets and straps come as a complete unit and shipped to your door. It's about $324, and it's also made in the USA, which I love. The Bells of Steel Manticore setup is two separate purchases, so you get the straps and the connectors separately, and for a total, you're looking at around $200 shipped. You do get to pick colors though, which is nice. The Rogues just come in one color. That's a $123 difference. The Bells of Steel is the cheaper option, that's true. And I'll come back to why that is and whether or not that gap is worth it. So two different approaches for the same job. Let's see how they hold up. All right, for the Rogue, so it is 0.3125-inch thick steel brackets, which are a little bit less thick than the Bells of Steel, 1-inch diameter where it goes in, and then 3-inch wide reinforced nylon straps. It's safety rated at 10,000 pounds, and it does have UHMW on all the contact points. Bells of Steel braided strap construction rated at 1,000 pounds, which is pretty crazy, the difference. Solid flip downs connectors like you would have in a J-cup, and it's good hardware. It also has UHMW coverage. So the honest spec comparison, the 10,000 pound safety rating it's just in a different class than the Bells of Steel, 1,000 pounds. In a home gym, no one's loading up past 1,000 pounds. So it will catch a failed lift, and it has caught failed lifts for me. But I'll tell you where I stand. I definitely feel a lot better under a heavy bar when I know that the strap is rated to 10,000 pounds versus 1,000 pounds. The gap matters to me. The UHMW plastic is good on both. I've been using them both and I haven't had any issues with the powder coat at all. The Made in the USA from the Rogue ones is also a big deal to me. I absolutely love that. So the Bells of Steel connectors only come in black, same with the Rogue. If you're building a specific look out, just remember your connectors are going to be black unless you're doing some really custom stuff with Rogue or Bells of Steel, which I am not privy to in my situation. Installation on both systems is pretty straightforward. You have the 4 brackets per strap for the Bells of Steel. For the Rogue, same as well. You have the 4 connectors that you put into the straps. One good thing to know, the Bells of Steel connector pin has a flat tip rather than a rounded tapered one. So getting it through the second hole and getting it aligned is kind of a hassle sometimes. You have to be precise. It's not a huge deal, but it does come up almost every time you use them, for me at least. So just remember that changing height is another area where that does come up. The Rogue Monster strips have a well-documented complaint in the reviews, and I want to address it. Multiple buyers have reported the brackets fit extremely tight on the uprights, kind of where you can only nudge each side a few holes at a time. Going from squat height to bench height becomes a real process. So I have not experienced that on my uprights. Mine adjust cleanly. I can't tell you exactly why some setups have that issues and others don't, but that feedback is out there, and if you go to the Rogue page, you can read all about it. If you do run into it, though, definitely get back with Rogue, whether it's a calibration on the UHMW or it's new brackets. They will be sure to take care of you. The real thing I love, though, is Bells of Steel makes a Magpin that I absolutely love. It's my favorite one, and it's the Hydra version of the Magpin, which is for 5/8. That is the same diameter as what you need to put through your Rogue straps in order to make them completely easy to pull it out, reposition the bracket, and drop it back through the strap. A 4-pack of those Magpins is about $110, so add that to the $324 of the Rogue, and you're getting $424 plus tax, maybe all in. So that's definitely important to remember, right? That you are going to spend a little bit more if you want that quick adjustability, but it's 100% worth it. No doubt in my mind. I have not looked back a single time, and the Bells of Steel Magpins have my highest recommendation, both the 1-inch Manticore and the 5/8-inch Hydra. All right, so both systems will let you mount the front and the back brackets at different heights. You do have a limit though based on how much slack you have in the strap, but both brands got that right. Something that you're not going to see in the product description though is when you look at the Rogue brackets, they are super compact and they sit tight against the upright and they take up very little lateral space, and they're also very easy to slide in exactly where you want them. The Bells of Steel connectors, they have more bulk and they go in kind of like a J-cup where you have to slide them in and flip them down. A lot of days I'm running supersets, especially when I run a superset of like a bench press off the front of the rack and a deadlift or an RDL in the middle of the rack. When I do that and I have my spotters set up, the Bells of Steel straps are not nearly as usable as the Rogue ones. So with the Rogue ones, I can get the bracket right under my spotter arms, and both accessories can coexist on the rack without interference, and that's a really big deal for me, the usability and efficiency. With the Bells of Steel connectors, the footprint is kind of too large to do that, and you can't get both systems, the spotter arms and the straps, close enough on the superset setup. So you do have to make concessions there if you are going to go with the Bells of Steel. For a solo home gym lifter that's running multiple accessories, rack real estate is kind of everything, right? So the Rogue system wins here in a way that truly has an impact every time I do a superset. So which one am I keeping? Definitely the Rogue. I had my doubts initially and I ended up getting the Bells of Steel instead of the Rogue to start. But then I started doing some research and I started realizing how much this design, which is the same one as what Sorinex uses, why it matters and why they built it that way. So I'm running a Monster Series rack, and the Rogue system is built for this upright. The hole spacing, the application, it's dramatically more convenient in the practical sense. The safety rating's 10 times higher. It's made in the USA, and if you buy the 5/8-inch pin, the complaints of adjustability really disappear. The Bells of Steel Manticore system is still a solid product, and if you're trying to save money, or if you're on a Bells of Steel ecosystem and you want to stick with that, it's a legitimate choice. Price, color options, the reviews are strong. After using them both extensively for many, many workouts, the Rogue is just hands down the better one. The real knock on Rogue is the adjustability piece, but honestly, like I said with the pins, that goes away. Problem solved. So if budget's the deciding factor, the Bells of Steel is a good choice. It's not a true compromise because it does everything you want it to do. But if you are anything like me and you value your rack real estate on your uprights, it's going to matter. So there are links to both the Bells of Steel Magpins and both sets of straps in the description as well. Questions on either system as well, drop them below. I read them all. If this helped, please subscribe. If you're buying something from either Bells of Steel or Rogue, please consider using the affiliate links. It's no cost to you, but it does help the channel. So this channel, for those of you that haven't been here before, is focused on honest gear reviews for the home gym user and a dad who actually trains on this stuff. So this is Drew from Iron and Lime, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.